Avengers Age of Ultron. It's the new film from Joss Whedon. Is it worth your time? Stick around, but yeah, it is. Hey everybody, welcome to the Campfire Show, the show where I do the very difficult task of telling you whether a movie is worth your time or not and if it deserves a spot in your movie collection. As always, I am Ash, and today we're going to be talking about Avengers Age of Ultron. A cheese thing just fell out of my trash can. Let's assemble. So Avengers Age of Ultron is the sequel to, the greatest comic book movie of all time. And basically in this one, the Avengers, they're back together, they're kicking ass, they're basically kind of tying up loose ends with Hydra from Winter Soldier. And then all of a sudden, Tony Stark creates this AI, and he's just like, oh hey, this is an AI that I created to basically protect the world, because we can't do it forever. Sometimes we might lose, he's afraid that if their world, the world's only hope, that's going to probably not reflect well on the world. So he builds this thing to try and save the world. Then it turns out, it comes out, it's Ultron, and it pops up and it goes, oh hey, the world's actually not all that great. The only way to save the world is your extinction, so we're kind of going to have to kill all the humans. Yeah. So Ultron basically goes on a warpath to try and go just do genocide everywhere to make a new, beautiful, peaceful world. But that's not beautiful, peaceful world, so the Avengers have to stop him. Yeah. If you've been following the channel for a while, you know that the Avengers Age of Ultron was my second most anticipated of the year. I was going so crazy excited over this movie. The Avengers, to me, is the greatest comic book movie of all time, and it was also my favorite movie theater experience of all time. So yeah, I was pretty excited for Avengers Age of Ultron, and after seeing it, I came to the conclusion that, 1, this movie is incredibly, incredibly flawed. 2, still no movie has come along that has beat Kingsman as my #1 of the year. This movie didn't do it. But 3, this movie was so fun. It was so ridiculously fun. I don't care. I mean, come on. You go into Avengers to have fun. You go into one of these movies to have fun. You go in, you want a giant crowd so you can sit there, you can cheer, you can laugh, you can cry, you can freak the hell out with all your fellow nerds. Just go wacko until the movie's over. And this movie really delivered that and more for me in terms of the fun department. It's like, those scenes that happen that are just so incredibly awesome, like one shot will just awaken something inside of you where you actually kind of orgasm. Yeah, this movie has like 10 of those in the opening scene. It's amazing. It is amazing how crazy it is, and it immediately cements into you the tone. It's like, hey, this movie, it is going to be big, there's going to be incredible action, and it's going to be hilarious. So basically, it's everything I wanted it to be in a way. Like that, I wanted to have fun, I wanted to laugh, and I wanted to see crazy action, and this movie delivers on that. And the Avengers themselves have never been better. For the most part. I have a little issue with 2 of them at the moment, but I'll get into that when we get into the negatives. For me, the Avengers in this movie were just great. Because at this point, the actors have cemented themselves in their roles enough to the point where they have become their characters, and they have become so close to each other in real life that their chemistry is just off the chain. I'm telling you, watching Captain America and Iron Man make a funny while they wreck 10 evil people. That's awesome, and it's amazing. Not to mention, we improve on some Avengers, or should I say Avenger, that was kind of pushed to the side, kind of swept under the rug in the last movie. I'm talking about Hawkeye, and a lot of people have just been like, yeah, Hawkeye's really good in this movie. I'm the guy coming out saying Hawkeye stole that movie. He was hilarious. He was so meta. He was always self-referential. He'd be like, oh yeah, mind control, don't do that. He's literally making so many references to how poorly he was treated in the first movie, and it works! It works for his character, and it makes his character hilarious, and you care about Hawkeye. By the end of this movie, I cared about Hawkeye more than, anybody. That says something. And of course, in this one, we actually got new Avengers, too. I'll start off by talking about the twins, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, who I actually really liked. I've heard a lot of kind of lukewarm responses to them. I really dug him. I dug Quicksilver. He's fast, he makes wisecracks when he needs to. He's still a darker character than, say, the one we got in Days of Future Past, but honestly, I kind of prefer this one just because I like the character more, and he was more relevant in this movie than Evan Peters was in Days of Future Past. They were like, oh hey, here's the best part of the movie. Now he's gone for the rest of the movie. But I really dug him. I loved Scarlet Witch. And that's not just because I have a giant mega crush on Elizabeth Olsen. It's also just because Elizabeth Olsen is an awesome actress and she did Scarlet Witch awesome. Like, Scarlet Witch was cool. She's got all these mind powers and just like telekinesis. I dig it when anyone's eyes turn red. That's just the thing I dig. Her eyes turn red a lot and she's got all these cool powers, and I dug the two of them as a team. I think the two of them together really worked, especially since you see that, you know, sibling bond and it's deep and just, yeah, you know what I mean? Will say I could have done without the Russian accents. They didn't work for me. I didn't know why they had to go with them. I know it's like, you're gonna be like, oh, but hey, Ash, they were in Russia. To which I could tell you, like, Black Widow's Russian. You don't see Scarlett Johansson running around like, oh, you did not see that coming. Like, I dealt with enough Russian accents in Child 44. I don't need more of them. But honestly, in the next one, I wouldn't fault them if they just kind of ditched it. Like in X-Men 2, where they just kind of ditched the accent Halle Berry had going. I wouldn't fault them if they did that, just saying. Also, Vision is in this movie, and Vision is awesome in this movie. Like, first off, his creation scene, it's so Frankenstein. It is literally Frankenstein, and it works so well. Then he comes into the movie. You know those scenes where just something subtle will happen and your crowd will erupt? Vision had like 3 of those, and they were the craziest any of us got in the theater. I absolutely adored him. It's also just nice to see Paul Bettany not just as Jarvis for once. You know, Paul Bettany's been playing Jarvis since Iron Man, and now it's finally like, oh hey, do you actually want your body to be in the movie instead of just your voice? And I thought he did fantastic as Vision. I'm really excited to see where they go with his character. All that being said, I said there were 2 exceptions to my, oh, the Avengers are better than ever rule, and that is unfortunately Hulk and Black Widow. And why do I say that? I say that because the entire movie, they just want to pork. Like, they just want to pork. And that bothers me because Hulk is my favorite Avenger. I love the Hulk. I have the Hulk there, I have the Hulk there. I love the Hulk. But they give him this romance with Black Widow that, for one, is out of nowhere. It just happens in the movie. It just kind of happens, and it's just like, oh hey, yeah, this is happening. I'm like, I think I missed a movie where this became a relevant thing. I think I missed that, and because of that, it didn't work for me. It was just all sudden, and it was romantic, like, just dire romantic, like, so crazy romantic, you'd think it was The Notebook at times. And it didn't work for me at all, like, at all, and honestly, it kind of brought down both their characters, which makes me sad. I would have rather seen them just work on Black Widow and, Captain America's relationship. Because that one was fantastic in Winter Soldier. It was fantastic. This one didn't work. It just didn't work. And let's let that be our segue into the negatives, because I did state in the beginning of this video, this isn't a perfect movie. This is a very flawed movie. Unfortunately, I'd be sticking my head in the sand if I didn't address a few things that happened in the movie that I was just like, eh, and maybe these things go away the second time I see them, because it is one of those movies that I feel like I'll like it a lot more the second time. But honestly, one of my big issues was Ultron. Sorry. Look, here's the deal. Ultron as a character is fantastic, and James Spader's voice is just, it's perfect for Ultron. It's perfect, and I understood his motivation. My issue is just rushed. He is so rushed. I mean, like, Vision, when he comes to being, that scene is a legitimately big scene. When Ultron comes into being, it just kind of happens. It's like Black Widow's relationship with Hulk. It just kind of happens, and he shows up, and he's just immediately evil overlord, you know? I would have liked a lot more build-up to his character. I would have liked to see him be darker, too, because when I was going into this movie, I wanted to see a darker Avengers movie. That's what I wanted. And Ultron really wasn't as dark as you might think he was. Like, I'm telling you, Ultron was actually really funny. Which I dug and didn't dig at the same time, because he'd crack a wisecrack and I would die laughing, and then I'd be like, ha! But is that best for the character? Like, I figured he should have been kind of more menacing and scary, and I didn't get that from him, honestly. I wasn't scared by Ultron like I wanted to be. And it's one of those things, Marvel just, they can never top Loki. They can never top Loki. It's not happening. Thanos will probably be the biggest chance we got. Ultron, I wanted him to be so much better than he was, but I think they just didn't do the character as much justice as I would have liked. And then let's move on to my biggest issue with Avengers Age of Ultron, which is the pacing. This is a near 3-hour movie, and even with that, it feels incredibly rushed. Like, a lot of the times, I talked about Ultron, he's incredibly rushed. I'm telling you, there are scenes where a thing will happen, you'll be like, I feel like there's a scene missing. Are there scenes missing? And from what I've heard, the original cut of this movie was like 3 hours long, so I'm willing to bet there are scenes missing, and I want that 3-hour cut because I feel like if you put those in, you fill in some of the holes, this would ultimately be a better movie because of it. This is one of those movies where it's like, there wasn't enough of it. Is it a legitimate complaint? Yeah. So in the end, it's definitely not perfect. Definitely not. And in fact, I like the first one a lot more because I went to the double feature, so I saw the first one right before this one, and just that first Avengers movie, you get all the happiness, and you get, like, that's the first time it ever happened, so when you see them in this movie, the magic is kind of gone of seeing them for the first time. Now you just get to see the magic of watching them talk a lot, but other than all that, guys, I had an absolute blast with Avengers Age of Ultron. Is it the best movie of the year? No, nothing has beat Kingsman yet, but this is the most fun I have had in a movie all year so far, and I would say go see this. Like, immediately, this weekend, go see it. If you wait for an Avengers movie, if you wait to watch it till Blu-ray, you're a freaking idiot. I am sorry. Break the bank on this movie because it is a theater experience. It is meant to be enjoyed in a theater with a giant crowd. That's it. And I think it's pretty obvious this is a day one steelbook buy for me because, well, it's the friggin' Avengers. Of course I want to buy this. I want to watch it now. Like, that's the deal. Like, there are flaws with this movie, but all I've been thinking about while I was watching this, or while I was recording this review is, I kind of want to go see it right now instead of work. Yeah. Avengers Age of Ultron gets a B+ out of 10. Hey everybody, thank you so very much for watching my video review for the Avengers Age of Ultron. I want to hear what you think. Have you seen the movie? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are you going to see it? Are you going to skip it? Whatever your thoughts are, leave them in the comment section below because I want to hear them. And as always, guys, if you like this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all my future uploads. Be sure to hit that like button because it really helps me out. And be sure to leave a comment because I love comments. And hey, you like the video that much, you want to go the extra mile to support the show, consider sharing it. I would be very appreciative. But most importantly, stay classy. I had to do that really quick. A plane is flying over. Oh, okay. Do you want to be jealous? Do you want to be jealous if you didn't go to the double theater last night? Look at these things. Look at that's poster number 1. I know it's beautiful. You wish you had. That's poster number 2. These are freaking gorgeous. These are gorgeous, and I have like I have like a Death Note mural right there. I'm gonna have to take down to make room for these. They're gorgeous. I slept with. Oh wow, they sound really cool when you talk into them too.